the Northwest Robotics team, the Northwest Megabots, recently competed at World Championships in Houston. Aiden Baker, Trinity Drake, and Ethan Wancha. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome back, bots. Aiden and Ethan have been here before. Trinity, your first time?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. All right. You went to the national championships
We did.
for robotics. How did you do?
So during qualification matches, we had a little bit of struggles. There were just a lot of robot issues that couldn't get fixed in time.
Mm-hmm.
It caused us not to get picked for an alliance. But overall, it was a fun experience.
Awesome. And that's an expectation. That's what every robotics team goes through.
Mm-hmm.
There is a high risk of some sort of technical difficulty and failure. That's part of the game, right?
Yeah.
But it's not fun.
No.
But being able to go to the national championship, that's pretty cool. So you must have done well at states. Tell us about your path from your building your robot all the way through states and then to Houston.
So the season started out from kickoff, right? And we decided what we wanted to do, and then we built it. And then so there's 6 weeks of competition. And we competed week 1 and week 5, and then states is week 6. So we were one of the first teams to compete in our district, and we did really well. We were the 2nd overall pick of the whole competition, so we were on the first pick of the 2nd alliance, and we did pretty good. And then at our 2nd event, Macomb, we were ranked 3, we were captain of the 3rd alliance, and we did pretty good. And then at states, we did really well. We were 2nd pick of Alliance 7, but we made it all the way to the finals. So we were finalists. We almost won our division, which is crazy because that's
Because
the best we've ever done.
How many teams are you competing against in that particular competition?
So at states, there's 160 teams total, and there's 4 divisions of 40 teams. So we did really well.
Well, that's pretty amazing. So, and you mentioned alliances, and there is a lot of competition, but there's also a lot of cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
So, like football, you wouldn't run across the field and say, hey, we need a receiver and a running back, can we borrow yours? But essentially you do cooperate in robotics. Trinity, give us an example of the cooperation that goes on in robotics competition.
Yeah, sure. So a lot of cooperation kind of happens like on the field. So like on each alliance, there's 2 other teams, but like besides our team. So there has to be kind of a similar communication between the 3 teams playing on one alliance, and they all have to work together at one time so they score as high as they do.
Mm-hmm. Well, you saw Dr. Mark Smith just leave here. You know, he's a Northwest High School graduate.
Mm-hmm.
And you were at his place of employment last year as you learned about robotics and healthcare.
Yeah.
And was that an inspiration for anyone in robotics to see that, wow, there's a real life application to what we're doing here in high school?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different kind of paths robotics can take you. I mean, now there's robotics in almost like every industry. So in some way, shape, or form, you could be dealing with robotics.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I was there with you and seeing the robots at the hospital, and it is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Each of you have jobs, so let's take a look at the Megabots. What does your robot do?
So this year, so there's a different game every year. So this year, the game was, there was these 14-inch foam rings on the ground, and your robot had to pick them up and score them either into this area called the speaker, which was like higher up off the ground, or the amp, which was lower in the ground, but it was like kind of difficult to place them in. And then there was also, at the end of the match, you could climb on these chains and also place the rings in this area called the trap. So yeah, basically just manipulating these 14-inch foam rings.
Yeah, so the robot throws the foam rings, but as an added piece of excitement, a human throws one on your team. Which human was the the ring thrower on your team?
Evan, he's the tallest one.
You guys brought along a video. I think we see the robot in action. Let's take a look. I like how your Megabots looks like an old-fashioned black and white police car.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of personalization you can do.
Yeah, it's kind of on purpose. So this year, like the theme of the game was crescendo, which is music. So me and a few other people on the team talked to coach and kind of were trying to come up with an idea that would go along the theme and would be appreciated by our judges. That's when our coach was like, "Have you guys ever seen the movie Blues Brothers?" We were like, "No, like not really." So when we did a little more research on it, we were like, "Yeah, this kind of really fits the vibe of our team, the kind of funny aspect of it." So that's kind of when we dove into making our whole team that Blues Brothers aesthetic. So like you see on the robot, it's modeled after the Bluesmobile that we had renamed the Megamobile.
The Bluesmobile. All right, awesome. Got it. You each have a job. You're in charge of business, licensing, copyright, rights, and trademarks, and all that.
Yeah, I kind of deal with more of the fundraising and sponsorship side of the team. So that way we have funds to travel to Houston, which is a very expensive trip.
And then, Trinity, you're in charge of awards.
I am, yeah.
What does that mean?
So basically, at each event, there's an array of awards that a team could win. Basically, how you acquire an award or even like have a shot at it is judges kind of walk around the pit area where like robots are, team members are, and there are presenters. So I'm one of those presenters. Me and Daniel presented to judges, and we talk to them, let them know our team, how cool we are, kind of all of our hard work, and that's what ends up fitting us into a category for an award. So, yeah.
And then Ethan, you're the driver.
Yeah, so at the competitions, I'm one of the main drivers. So there's two drivers that drive during a match, and I'm the driver that like actually moves the robot around, and then Joe, the other driver, controls like the intake and the arm and stuff. And then outside of competitions, I'm like the head designer and builder. So I do a lot of like the designing for the robot and planning for that.
Well, you can see in the crescendo game, there's a lot of precision required on the driver's part. Do you have a Michigan driver's license?
I do.
Oh, good. Okay. I would say that'd be a priority to have that. The problems you ran into in Houston, you learned from it. Is there a future?
Well, it's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Our robot's actually been great throughout the whole season. We haven't had that many problems or any main like robot breaks. And then once we got down to Houston, it kind of all, like it just didn't go the greatest. Kind of got unlucky.
And at some point, someone did say that line, Aiden.
Yeah, Houston, we have a problem.
Yes.
Said often.
All right, we've got to pay for this. And one of the ways is you've got a fundraiser coming up. Let's hear about it.
So on May 2nd from 6 to 8, we'll be at All Skate, us and a bunch of other local area robotics teams. We're trying to help raise some money to help our program, and so that way if we qualify for Worlds again next year, we can attend. The cost is $8, and $4 of those dollars, well, most likely $4 of the dollars is going to come back to our team and help support us. But the more people we have, the more the team will make, and it's greatly appreciated.
Awesome. All right, so come on out and support the Megabots and all the other robotics teams. What about each of you? What year are you, Aiden?
I'm a junior this year.
Junior, oh, so there's another year for you. Trinity?
I'm also a junior.
And
Ethan?
then I'm a senior.
Oh, your last time.
Mhm.
On to robotics in college or in post something high school?
Yeah, I plan to get a job doing CAD, which is like designing, and then I'm also planning on coming back and help mentoring the team.
You're already doing that though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, awesome. Congratulations on a great year,
Thank you.
and thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. The robotics team at Northwest High School, there's a dozen of you, right?
Yeah.
Some of the robotics team from Northwest, the Megabots, Aiden Baker, Trinity Drake, and Ethan Wancha. More to come. We've